We are pretty much at the end of the FC25 game cycle, so I thought it was only fair that we created a tier list of every single promo that's come out in FC25. Now, I've got two things that technically aren't promos in here, but I think they're also worth talking about because they are new things in EA that are almost promos. You'll see what I mean when we get to them. Now, I do want to do more tier lists on the channel that aren't necessarily FIFA or football related, so let me know if you'd be interested in seeing any of that. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. Before we do the rankings, I think it's time we change the names of these tiers. Now, you'll notice that none of these tiers are called GOATed or GOAT tier, anything like that. That's because I think this game has been somewhat underwhelming compared to other years, particularly with promos. Now, before we rank them, I want to just quickly talk about this game as a whole. But I also think this game cycle has just gone way too quickly. I think the playstyles have really accelerated the pace that this game goes at. Because, for example, the first promo, you can see there, Road to the Knockouts. Those cards aren't usable after 5 weeks, really, except the best, like 3 or 4 of them, because they don't have a playstyle plus, a lot of them. There's just no need for them at all, unless they got the full upgrades. So I'm hoping next year, I'm not thinking they're going to get rid of playstyles as a whole, but maybe playstyle pluses, and just throughout the year cards get more playstyles. I don't know, it's quite a tough thing. And then I think this year is the prime EA greed year. Obviously, less people are playing the game, so they have to sell more packs. Yeah, we get that. But at the same time, because they're just focusing on packs more than actual good content throughout the year, less people are playing the game. It's almost like a circular cycle. One leads to the other. Less people play the game, EA make more packs, make you want to buy more FIFA points. That leads to less people playing the game, which then again makes them release more packs and all that sort of thing. I do think this is the worst FIFA/FC game since... Actually, it's probably just the worst one. I still enjoyed playing it throughout the year because it's a football simulation game and I enjoy it. But without further ado, let's get into ranking these promos. Now, to kick things off, as I mentioned before, we've got the Road to the Knockout promo, and my main gripe with this is that it should be Road to the Final. Road to the Final was arguably the best promo back in the day. You could get a card that might start out at 86 rated and keep them in your team all the way until they get knocked out in the Champions League. They would be usable all the way, but now there's no chance of that because of the playstyles. That just means old cards are useless once there's cards with 2 playstyle pluses, all that sort of thing. I've already been through that, but they're capped at certain ratings. Like these cards, I think, could only get upgraded by 2 or 3. You know, we had an Araujo, we had a Virgil van Dijk, we had a Jude Bellingham, a Kane, a Dybala, Diani. All these cards were too high rated at the beginning of the game, in my opinion. But the thing is, they weren't even usable after that long because of the upgrade system. And if it was Road to the Final, I remember there was a Goretzka card on FIFA 20 that ended up becoming 95 rated. A Koeman card that was 95 rated because Bayern won the Champions League. And you could have had him in your team all the way to UCL glory. For example, we had some really good SBCs and they were for low rated cards. They were for only 85 rated cards. Thuram and Ben Godfrey. They were pretty good at the time. Thuram actually was incredible, let's be honest. He was one of the best cards in the game. No playstyle plus. But after a while, he just wasn't at the power curve anymore because he didn't upgrade as Juventus progressed. Now, in fairness, Juventus didn't get very far, so maybe not the best example. But there's no card you could have in your team for the whole game. That's why I think Road to the Final is better. But if we're talking purely about Road to the Knockout, you know, we had some pretty good cards, some decent upgrades at the start of the year. Good SBCs, in fairness. And the Otamendi objective was half decent. So I'm just going to put this in could have been better because I literally just think it could have been better. Now we go to Total Rush. And this was to sort of promote the Rush game mode that EA added. I actually think it's really fun. It became terrible towards the end of the year. Well, still is now because the objectives are just trash. The last time I checked, you were still only getting an 85 times 5 for doing the weekly Rush objectives, which is just not good. I think it was almost a way of getting pro clubs in Ultimate Team, sort of. And I think that was pretty good. A 5-on-5. I think they could maybe even do a pro club sort of thing, 11v11 in Ultimate Team, but I don't know, maybe that wouldn't work. It was fun at the start of the year, just picking Anthony and doing Anthony spins and pissing off all your mates you're playing with if you did have friends. But if we're talking purely about the promo, too many high rated cards. This promo, I would say, really messed up the power curve, because already early on we got a Ronaldo, we got a Messi, we got a Neymar, we got an Mbappe. We're talking about some of just the best players in the game, full stop, to begin with, getting an even better card to begin with, and that had already happened in Road to the Final. Sorry, Road to the Knockout. Should have been Road to the Final. Not only that, there was Griezmann, Lewandowski, Frankie de Jong. There was Salah as well, who was on Ballon d'Or form at the start of the season. So we knew he was going to get so many promos throughout the year, and they still gave him one. And we know all those other players are going to get promos throughout the year. Yes, Mbappe had a slow start, but come on, guys. Mbappe was always going to find form at some point. I think the player SBCs were also pretty underwhelming and overpriced. Gomez and Swanson are the ones that are coming to mind that just weren't really that great, and they were way too expensive. I'm going to put this promo as bad. There were some really good cards, but I think that's a problem that early on in the game. Now we have Trailblazers, which I guess is sort of the replacement for Headliners. We had a Tavares objective, which I thought was pretty good. I think he was one of the first promo cards towards the start of the game where a fullback actually had fullback plus, which is quite useful. I used him in my team. He was very good. A decent mix of cards. There were some meta ones. You had a Haaland. You had Vinny, who was really good. You had those high tier sort of players. Had some alright mid tier players, and even some decent low rated players like Marmoush was 84 rated. Not many people really knew about him at the time. Now we all know about him. I think he had Power Shot Plus, and Power Shot was popping off at that time. I think it was a decent promo, but the problem was, unlike the other promos, it had a good balance, but there were too many of the 84 rated. I think we had 5 or 6 84 rated cards. That's probably too many for the third promo of the year. That's what we should be looking for with Road to the Knockouts and Total Rush. There should be 2 or 3 84s, 4 85s, something like that. That being said, there were some really good player SBCs, although they were a bit expensive. We had Rafinha, who was really good. Musiala, who I used for so long, really liked. I'm being biased, but I think he was really good as well. Jonathan David as well. Not really the best upgrade packs, but I think overall it was a decent promo. I know I dwelled on the negatives there, but there was a good balance of players, some cards you wanted to try out. We had the 100 mixed players pack, which sounded really good on paper, but actually in reality was not good at all. And I'm not going to talk about Evos a lot in this video, only the ones that purely relate to the promo and that I can remember. But there was the 100 Club Evo that was for strikers, and that was pretty good at the time. Got a lot of use out of it with my Gnabry Evo. We also got the lone Ballon d'Or cards, which, you know, some people could say, oh, so annoying, I had to play against Mbappe for a whole weekend league. But I look at it as more, I got to use Mbappe for a whole weekend league. That was quite fun. I liked using him at left wing. I liked spamming a through ball to him with Bonmati. For one weekend, I thought that was actually alright. I'm going to put it as could have been better. Again, because it's just not the most memorable promo for me. And we get track stars now. Also not a very memorable promo. It was confusing. The official meaning for it was players with high physical attributes, which were pace or physical. Overpriced SBCs, but we finally got 77 plus player picks. Player picks are better than just normal upgrade packs. You can stack them a lot easier. We got heroes in the promo as well, which is cool. There was a few decent cards there. And you know what? There were a lot of usable cards. But I am going to put this promo in bad. It just was not memorable. Now we've got FC Pro Live. Going into this promo, was thinking, oh, this is shit. Who the hell watches pros? You actually have to be a basement dweller to even want to watch a pro game. And I'll be real, I did not watch any pro games at all, or track the upgrades or anything like that. But I think this was a very good idea. There were some okay SBCs. We had Bowie was the one that I remember completing because he's obviously a Bayern card. But there were a few interesting players in the main promo. You know, there was a Benzema, Xavi Simons, Gravenberch, Ricardo Carvalho was a good card. I liked the upgrades. It was good to incorporate the pros into the game a little bit more. I'm actually going to put this at decent cards. Decent idea, has to go in decent. Now we've got Thunderstruck. This is the Black Friday promo, and normally these promos are good. We had some absolutely ridiculous cards in this promo. We had Mbappe, KDB, William Saliba, Phil Foden, Federico Valverde, Alexander Isak. You know it's crazy when you got to say the full names. So many good cards. Although a lot of fodder cards, yes, is a little bit of a problem. So many upgrade packs though as well. We got like repeatable 82x14s. Not infinitely repeatable, but you could do them, I think it was a couple of times a day. Great SBCs as well. I mean, they were a bit expensive, but we had Barella, Saka, Raul, which I remember, and that leads me on to this as well. We got some crazy icon cards as well. Zidane, Mateus, Jairzinho, I think, even had a card. Vieira had a card. Oh my god, and Hullet had a card. So many good cards in this promo. Cosmetic Evos. This was one of the first cosmetic Evos we got that was actually alright. You could get the sort of lightning striking on cards, which I thought was kind of cool. You don't have to put them on. You don't have to spend the coins on it. But if you wanted 10k for that, yeah, not so bad. Kim Min-jae objective as well was good. I'm going to put this in great, mostly just because of the SBCs actually and just the grindability. Then we go on to Ultimate Succession. This idea for a promo is actually really, really good in my opinion. I'm genuinely surprised they've never done anything like this before, especially having icons in the game and heroes in the game. It was basically just regens. So for example, Messi got a card, and Lamine Yamal's meant to be his regen, so they both got a card. But a lot of the cards actually just kind of were shit. That's the problem with this promo. You know, not including Messi, Kimmich, Yamal, or Tonali, or some of the icons as well. They were decent. I think it was Philip Lahm as well. They were good cards. But the SBCs were trash. This was a very boring time in the game, I've got to admit. Coming off the high of Thunderstruck. I think the fact it was after Thunderstruck, maybe this could go and it could have been better. It could have been better or bad for me. You know what, fair enough. I'm going to be generous and say could have been better just because the idea of the promo was really good. And now we've got Mode Mastery. This is one of those ones I was talking about. It wasn't a promo, but I think it was a good addition to the game. We haven't had icon swaps. This was kind of the replacement for it. You'd play rivals, you'd play champs or squad battles and get some tokens just from the rewards. You didn't have to use a full Korean division team, or you didn't have to use a full Brazilian team on world class in squad battles to get 6 wins. You didn't have to do anything like that. You just had to play the game. You got these tokens. You could get some really, really good packs. You could also get some good players. I think the packs, for example, for 8 tokens, you could get an 85 times 30, or for 6 tokens, you could get an 83 times 20, which you could save for other promos if you wanted. Probably should have saved it for Team of the Year. I think I just opened it for the next promo, which is quite stupid. And some of the players that were good as well. We had a Rodrigo. Some of the cards as well were quite usable. Some of the tokens were usable, sorry. We had a Lacroix card, McAllister, Fabian Schär as well. I see, this is weird. I think it could have been better, but it was still decent. It could have been great, but it was decent. Could have been better is sort of just mid. Now, Globetrotters. Although Mode Mastery was good, from Ultimate Succession until the promo after Globetrotters, which I'm sure you can see there, that was the most boring time in the game for me. I wasn't necessarily playing all that much. And again, this promo had the same problem as Road to the Knockout and Total Rush. Too many of the good players. So for me, this should have been a promo that had the opportunity for a lot more unique cards. Like, for example, I'm from Australia. I would have loved to have seen a Melbourne City card. Maybe this would have been a good opportunity. He doesn't play for Melbourne City. He played for Western Sydney Wanderers. But this would have been a good opportunity to add Juan Mata. Instead, he came in Winter Wild cards, I know. But it's a Spanish player all the way on the other side of the world in Australia. I get that players like for Salah, it makes sense. Yeah, he's an Egyptian in the Prem. But we also knew he was going to get a lot of promo cards throughout this year. He didn't need another non-performance-based ones. We also had a Ronaldo. Again, yes, I get it. He's from Portugal. He's playing all the way in Saudi. But we should have got someone different. And then Dembele. He's French. And he's playing in the French league. Why are we getting a Dembele card? That being said, some very good cards as well, like ones that made sense. De Ligt, Suarez was a good one to get. Kante as well, I think that was his first promo card of the year. And the SBCs were okay. I really didn't like this. I'm going to put it in bad. I think it was worse than Ultimate Succession. And now Winter Wildcards, the promo that is meant to be one of the most fun times on the year. It's Christmas, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, it's the holidays. So many meta cards. We had interesting position changes, random 99 stat boosts. I think they did this promo pretty well overall with cards. We had some of the boring players to sell packs like Haaland, we had Xavi, Di Natale, Son again actually, De Jong, Neymar, Vinny, and even that Winter Wildcards R9 who was so usable. Some very good, somewhat affordable SBCs. There was Cole Palmer, Zé Roberto, who were used by a lot of people. Slight problem, maybe 3 weeks was a bit too long for the promo. But what I really liked were the Chem style Evos. I think we had Catalyst, Artist. It's really not that important what they were, but pretty much they were Evos that would just boost 2 stats on the card by like 6 or 7. So for example, I had a card that had 94 pace, 85 dribbling, something like that, but his shooting was still in the 70s. I just got him up to 85 shooting and passing, which was great. Very usable now. I can use him off the bench. He can even start for me. So I think Winter Wildcards deserves to go in decent. There was a lot of different new interesting things that they did, but yeah, it can't quite go into great in my opinion. We've now got Numero Foot, and I think again the idea for this is actually pretty cool. I liked what they did with the season pass where the player's number coincided with the level they were on the season pass. That was good. I liked that. It was cool that the dynamic images on the card were just the backs of the players with their numbers. But I don't get the point in having the same number over and over again. I know they weren't going to release 99 cards, but it would have been nice to see at least only 1 or 2 players of the same number and some more unique numbers, which I guess they kind of ruined because who are we going to pick for 47? Well, we've already given Phil Foden a card, so it wouldn't make sense anymore. Who are we going to pick for 42? Well, you've given Jamal Musiala some cards, so it's not really going to make sense anymore. Those are just the ones that come to mind. Like Trent could have got a 66 card. Donnarumma could have got a 99 card. That would have also made sense. But instead, we just got a lot of the same sort of boring players. Leao, Griezmann, Militao. Balde's good. We didn't have a card for him yet. Camavinga and Walker. Really meta though, which is good. You do need some of those meta cards. SBCs for this promo were good as well, I got to admit. There was obviously Pedro Neto. The one with Finesse Shot Plus was insanely good. And John Stones, the Bruiser or Anticipate version. And there was also a +2 Evo for the promo cards, which was nice. I think that was quite cheap as well. You could just upgrade some of the mid cards, which kind of made them more usable in a way. Going into this, I was honestly going to put Numero Foot in could have been better, but I think it deserves a spot in decent. Now, what's this? Zidane. So this is Team of the Year warm-up / free Zidane. Now, free Zinedine Zidane. It was cool. I'll be honest. It was nice to get a Zidane card. A lot of people used him, which I guess is boring. But it was cool that you could have someone of such a high stature in your team. That being said, he did have Acrobatic Plus, which was, a bit average. But at the time, all the other stats kind of made up for that. And also with Team of the Year warm-up, all the warm-up SBCs were just the same generic, like every single other year. But this was one of the first times we have got a free icon on the game. The other time was Beckham. This time it was a lot more of a usable card. I'm still going to put this in bad, though. I don't think there was anything special about this Team of the Year warm-up. And the Zidane was okay. Now we get to Team of the Year itself. Promo, it was fun. Team of the Year is always fun. Even if it didn't live up to the expectations, I would put it in could have been better. But maybe, as I talk more about it, my thoughts might change. But it's fun. It was a fun time of the year. There was a few strange players in the team. Like, Ronaldo's my GOAT. One of my favourite players of all time. He really should not have got a Team of the Year card. He shouldn't have even got an honourable mention. Messi shouldn't have got an honourable mention either. Don't even try and convince me otherwise. People from their leagues don't deserve a place here unless they do something crazy in an international tournament. I don't know how Vietz didn't get a card over Cole Palmer as well. That was not the right choice for me. And I think the honourable mentions team was quite underwhelming, to be honest. You kind of had either really good Messi, a good Haaland, and then everyone else was kind of cheap, from what I remember. Most of the cards were somewhat cheap. No Yamal, I thought was weird as well. We didn't get a single Yamal card. Obviously, that's because they were saving him for the next promo, but come on, guys. He almost deserved a place in the actual Team of the Year. The upgrade packs were trash, like really bad, until we got the 82 x 20, which honestly was probably a mistake from EA. That was repeatable. That was cool. Pack weight was incredibly low, but at least it was something you could spam the shit out of. I remember I was literally sitting in my room half awake like a zombie, just hell-bent on finally getting a Team of the Year, and I packed Emi Martinez like 3 hours or so before the promo ended. And the player SBCs were good. I completed Kimmich, I completed Harry Kane, I completed Kevin De Bruyne, I completed Phil Foden, I completed Pedri, there was also Marquinhos. So, good player SBCs. I think Team of the Year goes in decent. By default, it starts out at could you have been better, but it goes into decent. And Future Stars is normally one of the most fun promos in the game. And I just think that it's almost lost its wonder. I don't know what it is, because there's still good young talent in the world, but I feel like they're almost always trying to save them for the next year, and then the hype's not necessarily there the next year. I can't think of specific examples right now, but there's just no one in that team. Like, there's a Bino Gittins. Like, is he really ever going to be that great to be worth 91 rated? Yamal deserves to be in there. But yeah, the cards are still very usable. Icons as well. I don't like Future Stars icons, because the fact that they became icons means they became stars, which means they were all future stars technically at one point. I don't see the point in that. We had a Pirlo SBC, a Torres SBC, George Best as well. They were alright. And I think the Future Stars Evo kind of saved it a little bit. Being able to pick playstyles, being able to pick playstyle pluses, choosing what positions you wanted to upgrade. That was pretty cool. I'll give him that. They definitely did it better than they did the year before. Because I remember looking back at my Brian Zaragoza Evo. He was a left winger who was like 5'6" or something. And he had acrobatic and aerial plus, or acrobatic and power header, something like that. Just the most dead playstyles. It was good that you could pick them. That really was quite good. So I was going to put it in bad, but could have been better. Just because that Evo, that was really good. Let's be honest. Grassroots greats. The introduction of Diego, or the reintroduction, I should say, of Diego Maradona into the FC franchise. The cokehead himself got a card, and similarly to Zidane, he got a free card. But this one started at 77, and you could get it all the way up to 89 for free. Then, the 92 was sat behind a paywall. And I forgot to mention this earlier with the Team of the Year ranking, but we had the really good Team of the Year Blueprint Evo, which costed 500k. Also the free centre-back Evos, which were really good, which I think makes Team of the Year deserve to be indecent. I think that set a bad precedent for Evos. They must have seen so many people buy FC points just to get that Evo done. The Team of the Year one I'm talking about. And that's when I think the real greed for evolutions started on this game, making almost all of the good ones cost coins, and in the end a lot of people buy FIFA points to complete them. That's what they did with Maradona. They thought, yeah, people will buy it. If they can get a Maradona with finesse and incisive or something like that, yeah, they'll buy him. Or technical, whatever. Yeah, they'll do that. 92 Maradona, everyone will want that. I didn't complete him. I was going to, but I almost just thought, no, just because it's greedy, no, I'm not going to. And also I had other cards I wanted to use instead. So I think it was just kind of greedy from EA, but, who's surprised about EA being greedy? There were some good SBCs. Kante was good. Mendy was... We got our overpowered Mendy card. Bombito was an interesting one, a 97 rated centre-back. We got some interesting players in this promo, I'll be honest. Upgrade packs were alright, the 83-14. There was only a few good cards in the actual promo. Usable cards, I should say. Bruno Fernandes, Araujo, and McAllister with ping pass. Also Dybala again getting another promo. I think that overall this can go into could have been better. There was also a Vardy card as well. Fantasy FC. When it first came out in... I can't remember what FIFA, so I'm not going to bother, but I think FIFA 22. It was one of the best promos on the game. It was so fun. Upgrade cards during the year. It wasn't as common of a thing. And this year, it was good, I'll be honest. Great upgradable cards. I think the main ones that everyone can think of. Kvaratskhelia. Was Rashford in this one? He's had one another year. Matthias Tell, which was a good cheap card. Rare on this game. A good cheap card. Now every card's cheap or 20 million coins, so that's not necessarily a thing. But this promo did it well. A good mix of top tier meta cards and the sort of affordable cards as well. Not that many of them were just pure fodder, which I liked. Player SBCs were a bit underwhelming and they were very expensive. Joao Felix was one of them. Randall Colomwani. And we had the 83 times 14 again, and you'll notice in the next few promos they kind of just did that over and over again. The Fantasy FC Cup though was really, really good. Now there was nothing crazy from the packs or anything like that, but we got an Evo where you could get up to 91 dribbling, a 94 shooting Evo. The only reason I'm talking about these Evos as well is because they directly relate to an objective from this promo. There was also the 99 dribbling Evo, which was kind of cool, but at the same time also limited your players to not being able to fit in anything else. A little bit frustrating. Can I put this in great? It was definitely better than most of the ones in decent. I'm going to put it in great. I had a lot of fun on the game at the time, so I'll put it in great. Foot Birthday, so many meta players again, but I do think Foot Birthday highlighted a problem with the progression of this game and the power curve. What's the point in this promo anymore? 5-star, 5-star. Every single card, 5-star, 5-star. It's not special anymore. A lot of cards have 5-star of something, so it didn't really stand out as much as it used to. It was cool to add back Jovino, Doumbia, and Abarbo. That was nice. I'm not going to sit there and act like I used to play that FIFA. I didn't even have a console at that point. But nice additions into the game. I watched enough KSI videos to know about them. Yeah, the fact that they got a Foot Birthday version and they got their upgradable version, which again, very pricey Evos. Has pissed me off. SPCs were good. We had the flashback Ronaldo and Suarez. They were very meta and very not needed, but I think everyone liked those cards being in the game. I loved that Ronaldo card. I've even evoed him recently and done a video on it. Yaya Toure as well, very meta midfielder. 83 times 14 again. And it was the first promo, I think, where we had the low-driven playstyle. And they did a good job of giving a lot of cards that so you could test it out. You know, for example, the Adeyemi SBC, Gnabry, Musiala. I did still overall enjoy Foot Birthday. It's indecent for sure. Might sneak its way up into great. I had a lot of fun at this time of the game. Dream Chasers, I'm going to be honest, never do this again. The idea of it sounds like you're giving players cards who have never won the UCL and are finally going for it. They got a chance. The only thing is, it came too late into the game and it seemed like a promo that was set up for upgradable cards, but it wasn't. You know, we had a Lewandowski card who has won the Champions League. We had a Mohamed Salah card who has also won the Champions League. Mbappe, yeah, he hasn't won it, but did we need an Mbappe card? Harry Kane hasn't won it. That was actually alright. We had Kimmich. I'm a Bayern fan. I never used him, but that's cool. He has won it though, so what's the point? I will say, in fairness, a lot of the Champions League cards were good, but most of the women's cards, the Europa League cards, the Conference League cards were not good. They just did not fit in anyone's team. Like, we had a Gabriel SBC, which was good, a Dembele SBC, which was good. But it just was not good. It was bad, but I don't want it to be in the game again, so I want to put it in never do this again. Immortals. The Lil Bro icons make no sense when you're only doing it for the ones that already aren't that great. For example, like, why do I need a Laurent Blanc Cam, which is just a crap card, or a Wayne Rooney, which is just crap? If we're gonna do that, do it with Pele and Eusebio, who are already in the promo, and do it with Henry, but make the Henry a packable card. That being said, Henry, Evo, all that sort of thing came from that. The Champs rewards were the worst ever. It was one of the most... This is when the game went back to being a little bit boring again before Team of the Year. Like, imagine we could get just an 89 rated Pele with 2 playstyle pluses, but give him some stats that really made him a 92 rated card. We got an 89 rated Wayne Rooney, but I don't care. If that card just said Pele on it, I would have been so much more happy. Because you can use Rooney's other cards in the game. You can get his base card at this point. It's not that special. The Pele base card you still can't really get. So a lower rated version of him would make sense. A lower rated version of R9 would make sense. That Henry SBC should have been the R9 91 rated SBC. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you guys agree with that. It just really disappointed me. The center mid Evo was good as well. They were cooking. Oh, we get more upgrades. Oh, we can get 3 playstyle pluses on an Evo now. That's cool. Oh, here we go. Oh my god, it cost 500k or 1,000 FIFA points, I think it was. No, not for me. Don't do this, EA. And if you are, just actually do the Lil Bros like I said you should. And now we move on to Team of the Season warm-up / the introduction of a paid season pass. I think this just goes straight into could have been better, because there's multiple ways of looking at it. We got some decent generic upgrade packs to save for Team of the Season, that sort of thing. Nothing really stood out there, but I'm more just talking purely about the season pass. It was actually really good. It's decent value for money, and I'm talking about spending actual money. You'll notice that the first season pass costed 500 FIFA points. Interestingly, since then, they've all costed 1,000, so, making them more expensive. Now, this obviously gets into a whole thing about, technically, this is a debate about capitalism, but EA are just purely focused on maximizing their profits. I thought that there's a slim chance this might be a step in the right direction to stop the greed of EA. But I'm wrong. They didn't slow down with the promo packs at all. I was thinking they might go, okay, instead of getting people to buy these packs for something fun to do in the game, we'll get them to get this season pass instead. No, it was just additionally. I'm hoping next year they really dial down on the promo packs that ruin the market. Slow down promos in general and focus more on the season pass, because I think this is such a good opportunity to make the game more fun. Team of the Season. For me, it's actually going to go in great. Now, Team of the Season was disappointing. It could have been better, which, again, makes me think I should rename the tier. But the first few weeks of Team of the Season were fun. The Champs rewards were bad, but there was some good SBCs. I actually enjoyed playing the game and packing the cards and upgrading my team. I had fun. By the time we got to La Liga Team of the Season, I'm like, damn, this is the best my team's ever been on a game. I'm having fun using these cards. And then, boom, La Liga Tots Champs Rewards. Oh my god, the hype around that was insane. That's my most viewed video this year, I think. I can't even remember what it's called. It's probably just my best ever for Champs Rewards. La Liga Tots Rewards, something like that. I got Bellingham red, I got Vinny red. It was just a really fun time on the game. It does drag on a bit, them going through every single league. I will say, though, Ultimate Team of the Season that was a letdown. End of Era SBCs were good, though. I liked all of them. I think they were good in the game. Shapeshifters. I didn't like it. I really did not enjoy it. This was the least I've played the game since before Team of the Season. I still play it. I still enjoy the game, but I just did not like the Shapeshifters promo. I think it's sort of lost its charm from previous years. Like, when it first came out, it was not the most meta cards in the game. It was from before Team of the Season. One of the cards that I remember vividly was Yusuf Atal's 85 rated striker card. Now, this is kind of going against what I'm about to say, but for me, what Shapeshifters used to be was a bit more like, oh, I kind of think this guy could play here. Let's give him a card there. Like Marcelo got an attacking midfielder card. You're like, yeah, he probably could play there. Let's give him a go. Ronaldo got a right winger card. Yeah, he probably could play there. Messi got a striker card. Well, they've played there before because their careers are so long. They have played in those two positions. So that's almost more of a flashback sort of one. And then there's a striker Son on another year. Yeah, he probably could play there. That's a cool idea. But now, this year, I'm just looking at it. And you know what? In fairness, the first card that came to my mind was Harry Kane. Like, you know what? Yeah, he probably could play at centre mid. I don't hate that there's, goalkeepers out of position in midfield, and I don't hate any of that, but for me, I don't care for it at all. I think Shapeshifters was really disappointing this year. It's cool that there are, we got a Sheffield card. Oh, sorry, I got to specify Sheffield United card. Because again, I mentioned earlier, I would have liked to see a Melbourne City card for Globetrotters or an A-League card for Globetrotters. Everyone else would have found that crap. But also, the cards are just not good. Like a 94 rated Sheffield United card from Wales is just not good for anyone. And I think that the fact that there are just position changes in the game make it a lot less interesting. Like, for example, Liao. He would only have ever had left wing cards on the game. It would have made sense now to give him a striker card, because, I wonder how Liao would do at striker. He's a bit physical, he could have a go there. But he's already got the striker as the alternate position, so what's the point? I don't really want to ramble on too much about Shapeshifters. I think a lot of people didn't particularly enjoy it. Maybe they'd put it in could have been better, but I'm going to put it in bad. I don't think this should be an endgame promo, and I kind of just wish we'd go back to the old chemistry system. No, but seriously, I think the old chemistry system, shapeshifters are much better without position changes. But I do like position changes in the game. It is pretty good. Or alternate positions, I should say. Anyway, now we are kind of up to date. We've got the women's Euros on the EA website. I didn't see an image for it, so I didn't know what to put. I just don't really watch women's football that much. Somewhat been keeping up to date with it for the German national team. Beat Poland, Denmark, and then lost to Sweden like 4-0 or 4-1, something like that. Really, none of those cards are that great, I'll be honest. And footy's off to a good start. It's, to be honest, I'm just enjoying playing Minecraft now, I'll be real. But each time I've logged onto the game, been some grindable SBCs, good cards to work towards. I think it could be set for a decent or great. The women's Euros I'll put could have been better. But I think that's going to be it for this tier list. I've waffled so much, I should have written a script for this video. I don't even know how long it is. I've been recording for 50 minutes, but I'm guessing it's going to get trimmed down to like 45 maybe, something like that. Anyway, wow. I better end this video quickly. But before you go, you have to subscribe. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.